like in that movie.
3, step forward.
Well, I just had the opportunity to have an excellent conversation with President-elect Trump. My number one priority in the coming 2 months is to try to facilitate a transition that ensures our President-elect is successful.
Oh, shit. Fuck. We discussed a lot of different situations.
Did you guys catch Ricky Gervais at that awards dinner the other night? Wowzers. What has gotten into him? He appears to be frantically hedging his association with Hollywood. Now, why would he be hedging? Well, personally, I think it's because of Q. Now, why do I think that? Well, first, quick recap of what Q is. Q is a military intelligence operation designed to inform the public of some very unpleasant truths about our country, and to lay the groundwork for some very overdue changes in our political system. It's like a metaphorical Mongol horde charging into battle with their horses arranged in a half circle, quickly closing the loop around the enemy, in this case, Team Hollywood, and causing maximum confusion, chaos, discord, and ultimately desertion. Now in this metaphor, Ricky is the Team Hollywood soldier riding along the back. He's along for the ride, but he's not super down for the cause. And he kind of gets what's going on because he rubs shoulders with those worthless European royals. He sees the obvious ambush, and so he's turning around and dipping out as quickly as possible. It will be very interesting to see who else in Hollywood recognizes the obvious ambush and breaks ranks in the coming weeks. I know many of you hear Q and immediately think, what the F? Satanic pedophile conspiracies? What am I looking at? And who could believe this crazy nonsense? Well, if it was a movie, you'd match between Game of Thrones, Assassin's Creed, The Da Vinci Code, The Matrix, Lord of War, and The Punch. And can't speak for everyone in the Q board, but the reason that I personally believe is because of a big data analysis project I did on WikiLeaks and the Panama Papers. If you don't know what that is, that was hundreds of thousands of indisputably authentic government documents that have been leaked over the past decade or so. I happen to know for a fact that Trump has a ginormous ace up his sleeve, and that he definitely will use it before the next election. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, the best place to start would be here. This JFK quote.
Civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program. For from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary.
paying attention to what's going on and waiting to hear from their future commanders. So,
well, I very much appreciate you, Baron of Arizona. So thank you very much for everybody that was sent by the Baron of Arizona. Very much appreciate it.
2, you are nearly conscious. 3.
Now count backwards from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Comes after 4.
2.
Keep concentrating. Just relax. Just concentrate and make your mind a blank. Okay, relax. Please take this seriously. Relax and have a good time.
So today, I decided to get real weird with you guys. We are going to be talking about some spooky new Space Force stuff. Specifically, some fun little future weapons, commonly referred to as UFOs. Am I really? Yep, I'm going there. Now, many of you have already seen the official teasers in the press. For those of you that haven't, I'll give you a bunch of examples in the comments section below, just so you can be on board. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please pause this video and check those out first, so that the rest of this makes sense to you. But long story short, the US Navy released footage last year of a real paranormal encounter some fighter pilots had with a real UFO. It made headlines in almost every major news outlet worldwide, from BBC to CNN. But most people never even heard about it, because our news was too busy telling us about how Orange Man bad to focus on hard evidence of UFOs for longer than a day. Amazing how the US Navy can literally release footage and official statements about these things, yet no one in our kangaroo media cares for more than a day. They can even establish official military guidelines and hold official briefings in Congress. But no matter what happens, 24 hours later, our kangaroo media will go straight back to talking about how Orange Man bad. The people who bring us our news are oftentimes the most vapid, shallow, and chronically uncurious people on this earth, which is a big part of the reason that we're doing the QAnon op this way in the first place. See who is shallow and will ignore real information if it's not served up to them the way they're used to receiving it, or from the people they are used to receiving it from. And who will follow the facts no matter who they come from or what kind of crazy place they lead. Think of it as something like a massive dose of intellectual humility for a global population desperately in need. With that in mind, let's dive in. The first thing you need to know is that time is not linear or constant like many of us were raised to believe that it is. Time is actually a dynamic force controlled by gravity, meaning that on planets bigger than ours, time moves slower because the planet has more mass and therefore more gravity, and therefore that gravity grabs time firmer and slows it down more. So they experience time at a slower rate. Like if we went to a planet twice as big as the Earth, the time there would move half as fast, meaning that 1 day there would equal 2 days here on Earth. Like in that movie Interstellar. Time isn't just different between us and other planets. It's even slightly different between different places here on Earth. Did you know that if you were to stand at the top of the Empire State Building, that you would be experiencing time slightly faster than if you were to stand in the lobby instead? That's because, closer to the Earth's surface, Earth's gravity is slightly stronger, grabbing the time slightly tighter and causing it to move slightly slower. The technical term for this is time dilation. Time dilation, or the difference between the rate at which objects at sea level are experiencing time and objects at other various high altitudes are experiencing time, is a real-world factor that has been accounted for by rocket scientists and satellite engineers since the 50s. GPS navigation would not work properly without accounting for time dilation. So how is that relevant to UFOs? Well, I'll tell you how. It's because those UFOs are not in fact UFOs at all.
They are time machines.
I was born in